Good afternoon. Please remain standing for just a moment. As principal of Thomas Jefferson High School, it's my honor and privilege to welcome each of you to this very special and honorable event. This event is a formal ceremony, and I ask each of you to honor its traditions with dignity. Please remain standing during the presentation of the colors, following with the Star-Spangled Banner, and I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. With that, please face the flags.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Colors. Face. Forward. Arch. Colors. Halt. Order. Arms. Color guard. This.
Let's give them one hand, please. You may be seated. Before we get started today, I want to introduce and thank a few of the platform guests and other people in the room that have attended today in your honor, TJ class of 2015. Please hold your applause until I announce each group. I'd like to start with the Board of Education. Please rise as I call your name. Ms. J.J. Harvey, the President, the Vice President, Mr. Troy Arthur, Mr. Bill Grove, Dr. Jill Ogris, Mrs. Susan Riley, and Mr. David Kozire. Let's give them a hand. The next group I'd like to honor is from Central Office, Superintendent Dr. Martha Bruckner, Assistant Superintendent Dr. Corey Vorthman, Mrs. Carrie Newman, Director of Secondary Ed, Mrs. Jenny Barnett, Executive Director of Student and Family Services, Ms. Diana Ostrowski, Chief of Communications, and Dean Wilson, Chief Financial Officer. Let's give them a hand. I'd also like to acknowledge my assistants, Mr. Jeremy Stuckenholtz, Mrs. Tanya Wyndham, Mr. Eric Sagert, and my school administrative manager, Mr. Dan Merriam. With us today is also Principal of Tucker Career and College Center, Mr. Kyle Forney, Principal of Canesville Alternative Learning Center, Mrs. Jessie Taverdi, Wilson Middle School Principal, Mrs. Kim Kazmirchek, Principal of Carter Lake, Principal of Carter Lake, thank you, Doreen Knuth. Principal of Franklin Elementary, Miss Lori Swanson. Principal of Roosevelt Elementary, Mr. Mark Schultz. Principal of Rue Elementary, Mrs. Trudy Evans. And Assistant Principal at Kern Middle School, Mrs. Jerry Larson. Let's give them a hand. I also want to acknowledge our senior class sponsor, Miss Lisa Honig, and our senior counselor, Mrs. Carla Hartenhoff. Please stand. And finally, I'd like to ask all TJ, Canesville, Tucker Center, elementary and middle school staff who have attended today on behalf of our students to please stand. You have touched the lives of our students, and we appreciate all you've done. Let's give all of our teachers a hand. We'd like to kick off today's event with a few words from our Mrs. J.J. Harvey, our school board president. If you'd come forward, please.
Good afternoon. Welcome, class of 2015, administrators, faculty, family, and friends. On behalf of the Council Bluffs Community School District Board of Education, it is my pleasure to stand before you and congratulate each of you on your individual accomplishments. As I began thinking about what I should say, I opened up the Sunday Omaha World Herald and discovered 45 outstanding 2015 commencement speeches from around the Omaha and Council Bluffs area, including our own seniors. I could go on for hours talking about their wise wisdom and about all the experiences you've had, which has prepared you for this day and for the future. But then I remembered about the fate of the famous Greek philosopher Socrates, who lived a long, long time ago. Socrates gave very long speeches and was very intelligent, but his friends killed him. Since I don't want to be like Socrates, I will be short and to the point. Seniors, you are ready to start a new chapter in your life, and it is a chapter where you will all get to write the story. No matter what personal goals you have achieved or the GPA you have acquired, all of you have sacrificed, persevered, and dedicated your time and energy to be able to sit here with one another today. Now, the choices become yours. You hold the power to create your own destiny. Graduates, you need to make this next chapter worth sharing with the world. It is your time to impact somebody's life somewhere. I sincerely hope you find success, whatever it is that you love and motivates you. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. We are extremely proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. I'd now ask Zane Taylor and Eldon Warner to come to the podium. Zane and Eldon are two phenomenal representations of Thomas Jefferson High School. They had to compete to be able to give their speech today. Normally we have them sitting up here, but I think the fact that they approached me and asked if they could sit with their class today instead of being up here with us says something about their character. So we're going to start with Zane Taylor, and then Eldon Warner will say his speech.
Good afternoon. It is my honor to be able to stand here before you and speak on behalf of my fellow classmates. I would like to thank all of those who are here today for this important moment in our lives that we have worked so hard to get to. Trust me, it was no easy task, but with all the tests, performances, assignments, and alarm clocks that blared so early that somehow it must be a mistake. It has been a lot of long days and late nights and a lot of early morning classes. We could have not done that, however, without all of the hard work and unbelievable dedication of the staff here at Thomas Jefferson. Between the administrators telling us how close we were cutting it during passing periods, to the janitors who made sure that we didn't have to wade through trash every day to get to class, I would like to thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts. But most importantly, the teachers who had the impossible task of not only educating us, but making sure that we retained enough so that they did not have to see us again the next year. From juggling beakers and chemicals in science, and the teacher doing their utmost to make sure that we didn't set the building on fire, even though there were a couple of close calls. From our English teachers telling us that Shakespeare was the greatest writer that had ever lived or will ever live. But to us, it just sounded like a bunch of gibberish that slipped forsooth and doth in between every other word, and that there was a 5-page paper on it due the next week that none of us had even started. And then there was math. Oh, math. I'm actually surprised that I have this much hair left after the chunks that I managed to pull out during some of those calculus tests. And honestly, whoever thought that numbers and letters go together was a cruel man indeed. Then someone decided to throw symbols into the mix, and with all the scratch outs and marks that I had on my paper, it just looked like an abstract painting. Social studies was pretty easy. Everything was in English. There was no numbers and there was no symbols. There was no fear of setting my hair on fire. What we did do is pretty much critique all the mistakes of the world and the past, and then in government we decided that they were repeating the same mistakes today somehow. So somehow, however, they made all of it stick and just enough of the right stuff to stick to make sure they got us to pass and to get us here today. And for that, we are so grateful that my words almost fail me. Almost. While I'm on all of these thank yous, I would like to take the time to thank all of those parents and guardians, and sometimes even siblings that managed to haul us out of the bed every morning. Sometimes the sun had yet to even rise, and yet there they were at our beds, shaking us awake and kicking us out of the door. Without them, most of us could not have even woke up in time to make it to graduation today, let alone them doing it every other day of the year. We might have been annoyed, but it's because of them that we made it through this year. We may have given them attitude, and right now I would like to apologize on behalf of everyone here for the attitude that we gave. All your hard work is finally paid off. We made it here, and it's mostly thanks to you guys. As I look out at my fellow classmates, some of whom I've known for the last 13 years of my life, and some of whom that I felt like I have known my whole life. A few of you I realize I've never seen before today, and that makes me a little bit sad, so I'd like to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Zane, and I would love to chat with you guys for a couple minutes after all this is over if you'd like. This marks a very important and also a very scary moment in our lives. We have finally emerged from our cocoons as adults, ready to take on whatever the world has to offer. But it is the unknown that we face before us, and that is what most terrifies us. We have to look out at the unknown, standing on the edge of our old life, and take the first step into the dark future, not knowing what it may hold. I'm not worried, however, because I know all of the potential that this is in this room with me right now. If I had one word to describe the people that I see in front of me, it would be resilient. TJ kids are able to take anything that happens to them in stride, and they are able to withstand anything. We are so strong that it amazes me sometimes because we can come together as a group and support one another. Most people would have buckled under some of the things that some of these students have been through, but they can take it and bounce back stronger than ever before and turn it to their advantage. We know that there will be some tough times ahead, but there's nothing that we can't overcome. I know that we will push through all adversity and change the world. It may not be newsworthy change, but all of us can change the world in just one step at a time. I look out at all of you, and I see a bright future for all of us. I see those ready to serve their country and secure our freedom, fighting for what they know is right. I see those who want to become doctors and help heal the world one at a time and make people's lives better. I see those who want to teach and want to influence the world of America and to shape them into people that we will be proud to know. I see those who let music inspire them and want that inspiration to flow out from themselves and into the world around them, to perform and make a brighter future through those performances. I see engineers and architects that want to build a bright future for all of us to look upon in awe. Even those who are unsure of what you want to do, I am certain that you will find your place in the world and live out happy lives and change the world in your own way. Okay, I'm on my last paragraph. I promise I'm almost done. Just a little bit more. Bear with me. I want to say one thing, and if you haven't listened to the rest of this speech, I want you guys to tune in right now because this is the one thing I want you to take away from it. Never give up on your dreams. Whenever things get tough, I am always reminded of one quote. The minute you think of giving up, think of the reason that you've held on for so long already. Everyone has a dream that they want to aspire to, and no adversity or problem that we face should ever stand in the way of that dream. That dream is the reason that you do what you want to do. It is the thing that drives you to go that extra mile and to be the person that you are. If some of you out there do not think you have a dream, trust me, you'll find one, or it'll find you. Life's purpose is to dream, and every human's purpose is to see your own dream to come to fruition. Even if you think that I have no idea what I'm talking about or I'm too young to know what I'm saying, please just follow your dreams and make them come true, and I promise that you will change the world and live a life full of happiness. Thank you.
My heart is racing. You're all staring at me. Class of 2015, I would just like to say, cheese. I'd like to express my gratitude towards everybody who helped in mine and the other graduate succession, whether it be friends, family, hi mom, school board, school district, all of you, thank you so much for helping in our succession. I can't begin to express my gratitude. I would like to think that some of you think my morning goes something kind of like this. I wake up refreshed and clean. Everything's set in place because I'd prepared the night before. I'd got a nice healthy 8 hours of sleep. And then I just get up, put on some jams by Beyonce because, you know, she's my wife. And then I hop onto my mighty stallion and ride off into the sunset. But in all reality, my morning goes absolutely nothing like this. And I'm sure you can attest that yours does either. Probably our morning goes something kind of like this. The very second you're woken, by a rude timer that you set the night before. And then you probably hit the snooze button around 9 or 10 times like I do. And then when you finally have enough gusto to finally get out of bed, you put on about 5 or 6 outfits because the one previous was not quite on fleek. And then once you finally find the perfect outfit, which usually ends up being sweatpants and a t-shirt, you go upstairs, turn on the coffee machine, because Lord knows you'll need it. And then finally, I go to my sister's room to go check if she's ready. This is about 2 minutes before we leave. And what I find in her room is some mixture of a creature from a Tim Burton movie and a small, angry Asian woman. I'm abruptly told to get out. And then right before we leave, I go to the mirror. And I think of one of two things when I look at myself. Go get him, Tiger. Or, Lord have mercy on my soul. I then go to school, where I begin to procrastinate and space off until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we're dismissed. And then I go to track practice, where I proceed to lose my lunch. That would probably explain why I'm so small in stature. And then once I'm finished with that, I go straight to High V, where there's a little bit of a fib they tell you. There's a helpful smile in every aisle. Well, in all reality, we don't have enough workers for that. We'll have to send some home. So we really have a helpful smile in every 3 or 4 aisles. Once I'm finished working, I go straight home, where I go to the place where I last left, and that's the mirror. And when I look in the mirror, I recite this poem that our track coach, Coach Bob Nielsen, tells us every year. It's called The Man in the Glass. When you get what you want for your struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, just go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or wife whose judgment upon you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts the most in your life is the one staring back at you from the glass. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear to the end. And you've passed your most difficult and dangerous test if the man in the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on your back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass. Every year, I look forward when Coach Nielsen walks into the TJHS with a small packet of blue papers holding this poem. And now that I'm standing in front of this extremely large crowd, I've come to the realization that it's all over. This section of my life is finished, and I'm ready to start anew. And now that I look back, I remember this one eventful day when I was a freshman. I was sitting in the TJHS waiting for show choir to start, and Coach Nielsen comes and sits next to me. He looks at me and says, "Eldon, you can choose to be something, or you can do nothing." I hadn't realized it, but Coach Nielsen was giving me the most important thing anybody could ever ask for. And that would be the drive to achieve greatness and never settle for anything less. In life, all you need to do to achieve greatness is 2 things. And that would be, you need to put forth the effort. And second, you need the heart. Our class motto reads, "It's not about where you come from, it's about the heart." Being smart is not enough. You have to have heart. Our graduating class of 2015 comes from boundless amount of backgrounds. We're all different people, and yet we're all gathered here as one body to celebrate our accomplishments. Isn't it awe-inspiring how much just a little bit of heart can do? We've all been granted with the gift of life, and now we begin a new road, a new chapter. We have set the foundation for our growth as humans, and we are all destined, and we all have the ability to achieve greatness. And before I depart with you today, I'd like to share a quote from our very own Dr. Plord. "Resist the temptation for mediocrity." As we leave this section of our life and start our new section, I would just like you all to resist the temptation for mediocrity. Greatness is just beyond the closed doors in front of us. All we must do is simply open them. Greatness is never out of reach. All we must do is simply grasp it. Greatness is never just a dream. All we need to do is simply make it reality. We can achieve greatness as long as we never settle for mediocrity. We can achieve greatness as long as we fight with our hearts. We can all achieve greatness if we never cheat the man in the glass. Class of 2015, thank you for the best years of my life.
Eldon and Zane. Just a moment, Mr. Walker and the choir is going to lead us in a song called My Wish. Let's give Eldon and Zane one more hand.
I hope the days come easy and the moments pass slow, and each road leads you where you want to go.
And if you're faced with a choice and you have to choose, I hope you choose the one that means the most to you.
And if one door opens to another door closed, I hope you keep on walking till you find the window. If it's cold outside, show the world the warmth of your smile. But more than anything, my wish for you is that this life becomes all that you want it to. Your dreams stay big,
Your worries stay small.
you never need to carry more than you can hold. And while you're out there getting where you're getting to, I hope you know somebody loves you and wants the same things too. Yeah, this is my wish. You never look back, but you never forget all the ones who love you and the place you left.
I hope you always forgive and you never regret, and you help somebody every chance you get. Oh, you find God's grace in every mistake,
And always give more than you take. But more than anything,
more than anything.
yeah, more than anything, my wish for you is that this life becomes all that you want it to. Your dreams stay big,
Your worries stay small.
you never need to carry more than you can hold. And while you're out there getting where you're getting to, I hope you know somebody loves you and wants the same things too. Yeah, this
Thank you, Mr. Walker and choir. Let's give them one more hand. Great job. Next, it's my privilege to introduce Dr. Martha Bruckner, our superintendent. She's going to share a few words with you students. Thank you.
President Harvey, Dr. Plord, board members, faculty, administrators, and staff from Thomas Jefferson and from all of our other schools, parents, friends, and graduates. We who dedicate our lives to education love and fear graduation. We love seeing almost 300 graduates and families who are so excited that this day has finally come. It's so much fun to watch hundreds of happy people on this special occasion. But in many ways, we fear saying goodbye. Whether you've been here for a few months or many years, once you walk across the stage as a Thomas Jefferson High School graduate, you are part of our family forever, and we don't want to say goodbye. You are a member of the Thomas Jefferson class of 2015. There will never be another class just like yours, and there will never be another graduate exactly like you. We've been watching your class since 2008. When a strategic planning team dreamed that 100% of your class would graduate. We didn't fully succeed, but we came closer than any previous year. Some of your classmates will finish this summer and some next year, and we will keep working to help them succeed. We've lost a few along the way, but I assure you and our community that we will continue to reach out to those students to invite them back. We haven't given up. We, and you in front of me, know that graduation from high school is a basic that one must have to be successful in life. Congratulations to you for making it to this mile marker. Our school district's theme this year, Agents of Change, was meant to remind us adults that we make a difference in changing the world. Your teachers and administrators, whether in elementary school, middle school, or high school, many of them here today, have been agents of change for you. But we realize that we're passing the torch today, and you, the class of 2015, will be agents of change for our world. We need young adults, that's you, to make the changes our world needs. You will be the ones who figure out the important problems that we haven't yet solved. Reducing poverty, dealing with global warming, curing diseases, finding a path to peace in our cities, our country, and our world. We're very proud of you. We're proud and happy and hopeful for you in the future. But more than that, we're hopeful about the future because of you. We all realize that our future rests in your hands, in your heads, and in your hearts. I look forward to hearing wonderful things about the Thomas Jefferson class of 2015. Best wishes.
Thank you, Dr. Bartner. This next part of the ceremony is one of our best because we get to honor some special students that have particular distinctions. The first group are graduates that are wearing gold honor cords, and they're recognized for getting 3.8 GPA or higher as an average over their 4 years at Thomas Jefferson. Will the students with gold honor cords and any of their families please stand and be recognized? Thank you. This next group of students you'll see are wearing silver honor cords, and they're recognized for achieving a cumulative GPA of 3.5 to 3.799. Will the students and their families with silver honor cords please stand and be recognized? You'll see some graduates wearing blue honor cords, and they're being recognized for being members of the National Honor Society. Will those students and their families please stand? A final group of graduates are wearing purple honor cords, and they're being recognized for achieving a National Career Readiness Certificate. Will those students with purple honor cords please stand? We also have two students who have earned a very special level we call Graduates of Distinction. In your agenda today describes what a graduate of distinction needs to do to achieve this. Those two students can stand, and as well as their families, Brandon Lockhart and Zane Taylor. Before we move on to diplomas, this is an opportunity for me to say a few words to our graduates. This is my last opportunity to speak to you. I'd ask you to really think about and focus on what I have to share today. I share a piece of my heart with you. This class in particular is special in my heart because it's the last class that I will be principal of for TJ. I entitled this talk, One Theme, Three Important Questions. TJ graduates of 2015, back in August, you may remember that we started this year with an important phrase. Today we're going to end with an important question. The phrase was important because it was a theme for what I felt would be important for us to be successful this year. The theme was everything counts. Everything counts, and we learned that this year. The question I will share in just a moment. But first I want to personally thank each of you, as well as the entire class of 2015 for such a successful year. The new school year brought, and the end of the school year brought, a record number of scholarships for Thomas Jefferson. This record number is a great symbolic example of your success this year. The old record, 5.2 million, was amazing. To be honest, I didn't know if we could beat that record. You guys destroyed the record with over $7.1 million, which is amazing. That amount of money is amazing, and it's a good measurement of your success this year. That's why we gather here today, to celebrate your success. As we've prepared for this important day, I've been doing a lot of listening to what you guys have been talking about. Families here might wonder what I've been hearing. One conversation has clearly dominated the discussion, and this conversation was led by a key question. The question is, hey, what are you going to do after high school? Typically inherent in this question are the ideas, what job are you going to do, or what are you going to study in college that will lead to your career? Some of you already have a plan. Others still do not. Still, some of you had a plan, but you've already changed it, which is okay. Some students have shared that they're afraid. They're even paralyzed because they're not sure what they want to do, and it's scary. While the question, what are you going to do after high school, is an important one, it's not as critical as the two questions I'd like to discuss briefly today. The first one I learned from Bob Nielsen the other day when I was listening to something he was sharing with some students, and he said, who are you? Who are you? It just echoed kind of in my head. And the second question is like it, who do you want to be? The reason these two questions are critical is because if you can figure out the answers to the questions of who you are and who you want to be, then you won't have any trouble figuring out what you want to do after high school. Over the last year, I've shared a variety of statements of encouragement with you, senior class, which actually have turned into mantras. I've said something like everything counts in the beginning, Keep it classy, TJ. Assume the best in others. Resist the temptation towards mediocrity. Be the best you can be, and others. I'm proud of this senior class for a variety of reasons, but I'm particularly proud because you've demonstrated these mantras in many, many ways. These mantras help represent who you are. How do I know this? I want to share real quick just a couple sample emails that I received. First email says, "Hello, I must share with you that TJ has a very different feel than other high schools I've been in. I think I take this for granted, but I took a teacher from Westside to visit your school several weeks ago. This teacher grew up in Council Bluffs and went to St. Albert's. She was blown away with how wonderful your students were. She commented how they greeted us when we saw them. They held open doors. They said please and thank you. They moved aside when we passed by." They're talking about you. "Also, last week I got lost looking for the social studies wing. I was standing in the hallway looking confused when 3 students stopped. One volunteered to take me to the classroom, but the most remarkable thing was the other 2 wouldn't leave until they were sure I was taken care of. Having been around schools for 40 plus years, I know what good climate looks like. Great job, TJ." The second is similar. "I'd like to tell you," the person says, "about my experience at TJ yesterday. Sometimes we're so quick to report bad experiences, and I thought you should know this about your students. I had an appointment at TJ. When I went into TJ, there was a very nice young person who came up and opened the door for me. They not only opened it, but held it open. Then as I was walking down the hall, another very nice young person came out of the classroom, greeted me, said hello, and helped me to my destination. After my meeting, I was leaving, and there was another young person standing by the door waiting for a ride. They were kind of quiet, but they also held the door open for me and said hello. I don't want to sound like I'm from the Stone Age or something, but many times young people today don't have those manners or that kind of respect. And it was just so nice to see that every student I ran into was very respectful and friendly. I thought you and your students would want to know that. You helped us create this positive culture this year, TJ graduates of 2015. So the question, who are you? I think these 2 emails demonstrate that you already know that everything counts. The third and final question, who do you want to be? It may be the most important question of the 3 questions because you can figure out who you want to be. If you can figure that out, then you can figure out what you want to do. This question is critical because there is a direct correlation between what you do and who you become. I want to share one last personal story about myself. When I was about 19, just a little bit older than you guys. Like many in this place, after high school, I also thought I knew what I wanted to do. The problem was I thought I knew what I wanted to do, but it didn't match who I was, nor who I wanted to be. Originally, I was good at math and science, so I started studying civil engineering at UNO. Then when I realized this was not what I was called to do, I switched to industrial engineering. After about 2 years of this confusion on what to do, I was somewhat disillusioned with myself and with my situation. Around that time, I met a very special young man named Johnny. Johnny was actually my best friend's younger brother, so I did know him casually before this. However, Johnny had just turned 18, and he had also recently graduated from high school. My best friend and I were renting a house together while we went to college, and one day Johnny asked me if he could rent our extra bedroom. All sounds fine, right? Yes, except Johnny had a very advanced form of muscular dystrophy. And as a result, he was wheelchair bound, could barely feed himself, and needed all of his basic needs met through someone else. But inside, Johnny was a teenager, just like you here today, wanting to live life to the fullest. The only difference was that Johnny was likely in the last years of his life, and one could say in those last years, he just wanted to be one of the guys. I, of course, had to make a hard decision. Well, long story short, I took a chance. And I said, yes, Johnny, you can live with us, and I will take care of you. The truth is, being 19 myself, I really didn't know what I was saying yes to. I had no idea. In fact, I had no idea how much work it would be to actually take care of Johnny while I went to school. As many in this room know, being a full-time caretaker for another human being is mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausting. It's very difficult. We obviously don't have time to go into the whole story today, but suffice it to say that taking care of Johnny for the next year literally changed not only who I was, but also who I wanted to be. As we spent time together, Johnny and I actually ended up becoming very, very good friends, sharing laughs, hopes, dreams, and other things with each other. We actually had a lot in common, like most teenagers do. We talked about music, video games, girls, and other things. One of the hardest parts for me was knowing, though, that because of Johnny's disease, Johnny's dreams were literally that, just dreams. Dreams that actually we both deep down knew he would never fulfill. A fact we never discussed, but one that felt like a looming shadow over both of us. I'm sad to say that at the end of that year, Johnny did die from heart failure. You see, the heart is a muscle, and muscular dystrophy was attacking all of his muscles, including his heart. Johnny actually died in my arms that day. I tried my best to give Johnny CPR, but his heart had been so deteriorated by the disease that the doctor said there was nothing I could have done. Knowing that took away some of the pain, but now my heart hurt. The class motto you chose, "You have heart," reminds me of Johnny. While physically his heart had deteriorated, he had heart. It's hard to explain this in words, but I think you know what I mean. You know what I mean because you have heart too. Although this was obviously a terrible tragedy in my life and a very difficult time, I'm actually forever grateful to Johnny and indebted because he's the one who showed me who I wanted to be. In fact, that next week I changed my college major in hopes to one day be a special education teacher and work with students like Johnny who have disabilities of all sorts. Only those closest to me know this story, but now TJ class of 2015, you know it. I don't talk about Johnny often, but I share this story with you today in hopes to both inspire you and encourage you not to focus so much on what you want to do, but rather to think about who you want to be. So one theme that we started the year with, Everything Counts, becomes two questions. Who are you and who do you want to be? And a third and final question, what will you do now? Thank you. Mrs. Harvey, as President of the Board of Education, and Dr. Bruckner, as Superintendent of Schools, and to the other members of the Board of Education, at this time it is my pleasure and honor to recommend to you the class of 2015. These students have completed their course of study as prescribed by the Council Bluffs Community School District, the Council Bluffs School Board, and the state of Iowa. As a result, they are eligible at this time to receive a diploma from the Thomas Jefferson High School as authorized by Council Bluffs Community District and state law. I would ask Mrs. Harvey and Mr. Arthur, as President and Vice President of the Board, I would ask you, as well as the assistant principals, to come forward to prepare for the members of this class. I'd like to ask the first row of students to please stand. The other students will remain seated, please. Before we start, families and friends in attendance, the members of the TJ class of 2015, the TJ staff, and I all agree on the importance of today's ceremony and what it holds for each individual student and individual family. All of us want each class member to be seen and to have their name heard as they receive their diploma. We ask that the audience cooperate so as to not detract from their individual honor. This ceremony is to honor our graduates. It is a dignified and formal ceremony. Therefore, please refrain from using air horns or any noisemaker during this part of the ceremony, as it is important that every student's family have the chance to hear their student's name being read. Thank you, and with that, I'll ask Mr. Eric Sagert and Ms. Tanya Wyndham to come forward.
Winter M. Wilkinson. Taylor Daniels.
Mary Catherine Albright.
Alexander Lee Adams.
Alexis Ray Alcarez.
Adon Aguilar.
Kaylee Mary Marie Alt.
Brendan Edward Anderson.
Rocio Elizabeth Arroyo Yo.
Devin Michael Anderson.
Rachel Evelyn Artera.
Eric Avalos Rosas.
Lacey Angelique Basque.
Jonathan Boner.
Karen Michelle Barron Pantoja.
Trevor Bowman.
Tiffany Leanne Baxter.
Cameron Zane Brown.
Rudy Lynn Becerra.
Bryson Joseph Bushy.
Victoria Bayfort.
Dallas Guy Byers.
Lakendra Diniqua Black.
Donovan Matthew Caldwell.
Lindsay Yasmin Blackford.
Shane Dakota Calmer.
Mallory Jean Booz.
Santiago Ivan Cano.
Amanda Marie Bosch.
Rolando Bradley Carbajal.
Caitlin Joe Bowe.
Evok Alexander Cave.
Kendra Ann Bowe.
Juan Manuel Ceballos.
Jessica Joliana Brown.
Israel Cervantes.
Caitlin Marie Bryan.
Jonathan Chirez Lopez.
Kayla Marie Bussing.
James Anthony Chavaria.
Stephanie Joanne Carlson.
Terrence Norval James Christensen.
Caitlin Joe Chapman.
Dylan Robert Church.
Sarah Ann Louise Chavez.
Tanner Austin Zachary Clausen.
Brianna Rose Clapper.
Jonathan Michael Cohn.
Kaylee Ann Clapper.
Jesse Alexander Coggin.
Haley Lynn Clark.
Taryn Edward Conley.
Elizabeth Jean Klein.
Jeremy Dean Kraft.
Kelly Joanna Cumberledge.
Alexander Matthew Crook.
Shelby Dale Davis.
Robert Brian Daly.
Brittany Ashton DeSantiago.
Joseph Walter Daniels.
Michaela Michelle DeSantiago.
Ryan Thomas James Dickerson.
Monica Kelly Dietz.
John Michael Patrick Donahue.
Taylor Christine Doble.
Colton Downing.
Alyssa Renee Donnelly.
Jacob Harley Doyle.
Annie Marie Duncan.
Darren Dwayne Du Bois.
Lily Marie Edson.
Anthony Michael Durrett.
Brenna Ann Emmerine.
Travis Lee Ebling.
Leah Briante Everett.
Patrick Allen Ellison.
Madison Lee Farrell.
Zarin Lee Scott and Arson.
Brandy Lee Phipps.
Martine Francisco Espinoza.
Summer Dawn Fisher.
Lucas Andrew Exline.
Kanisha Charisse Fowler.
Marshall Wayne Fallett.
Kayleen Morgan Garcia.
Andrew Benjamin Fielder.
Kimberly Marlene Garcia.
Elijah as Isaiah Dezion Fisher.
Shania Marie German.
Gage Allen Fisher.
Chastity Christian Green.
Zachary Michael Flaherty.
Anna Michelle Green.
Cecilio Garcia.
Stacy Nicole Hager.
Zachariah Kenneth Gomez.
Tabitha Christine Harbor.
Antonio Gonzalo Gonzalez.
Jasmine Megan Noel Harrison.
Chase Daniel Green.
Elizabeth Joy Havenridge.
Nathaniel Thomas Gregg.
Jocelyn Alexandria Haxton.
Cruzito Reno Guzman.
Kaylee Diane Hayes.
Wyatt Davis Hancock.
Lauren Blaze Heemiller.
Isaac Dupree Hanson.
Hunter Raylene Hendrickson.
Alec Matthew Adam Hanson.
Maria Delordes Hernandez Alvarez.
Tyler Christopher Hawkins.
Alexis Marie Hires.
Chase Anthony Hayden.
Julia Lee Hills.
Joshua Kevin Hefner.
Marissa Louise Homan.
Brian Hernandez.
Haley Marie Hughes.
Jacob Edward Higgins.
Rihanna Janae Johnson.
Paris Lee Hong.
Stevie Marie Jones.
Logan Joseph Holtz.
Desiree Michelle Kearney.
Austin Quinn Jackson.
Samantha Ann Kennedy.
Alexander Joseph Jenkins.
Kyla Ann Kern.
Colin Michael Kelly.
Mercedes Jean Kozup.
Devin Dante Kermode.
Leslie Lisette Laura Garcia.
Brandon Michael Kimsey.
Tanya Alejandra Ledesma.
Isaiah James Peebley Knickerbocker.
Mackenzie Marie Linen.
Cody Dean Lee.
Bibiana Alina Lemus.
Riley Kenneth Lemke.
Victoria Elena Letts.
Bobby Light Jr.
Tristan Joy Leidick.
Blade Edward Livingston.
Sabrina Nicole Litton.
Brandon Lee Lockhart.
Stephanie Michelle Lovelace Rowland.
Trevor James Long.
Taylor Michelle Lundvall.
Wyatt James Lott.
Amanda Kathleen Lunsford.
Jesse Lucero.
Rochelle Marie Lustgraf.
Joshua Thomas Mabbitt.
Kirsten Opal Lyons.
Frederick Michael Mace.
Cheyenne Marie Matthews.
Marvin James Marquez.
Michelle Olivia Maxwell.
Chance W. McClellan.
Lakila Sky McAlpin.
Jacob Taylor McCoy.
Lindsay Marie McGinnis Hurt.
Seth Rude McIntosh.
Patience Nicole McIntosh.
Jesse Tyler Meister.
Dana Lynn Mefford.
Dylan Michael Montgomery.
Jennifer Lee Meidel.
Michael Robert Morrison.
Kaylee Michelle Miller.
Joshua Adam Carey Nagunst.
Carla Esmeralda Montalvo.
Dimitri Nathaniel Neely.
Emily Ann Mortensen.
Dylan Christopher Neitzer.
Courtney Marie Mulvania.
Jacob T. Parker.
Shelby Lynn Nelson.
Benjamin Para.
Carly Marie Olson.
Aaron Pierce.
Rachel K. O'Neill.
Charles Leroy Pond.
Zoe Marie Otteson.
Joshua D. Poor.
Margarita Panning.
Alexander Joseph Powders.
Elizabeth June Peterson.
Christopher Leon Powders.
Andrea Pisano.
Richard Michael Powers.
Taylor Marie Pond.
Nikolai William Proslow.
Holly Joe Potter.
Thomas Lee Reed.
Brianna Lee Pullen.
Robbie Dell Robertson.
Ashley Marie Rablin.
John William Robinson Jr.
Kat Ivy Richardson.
Alan Arturo Rodriguez.
Brianna Lynn Rowland.
Juan Bernardo Salas.
Abby Olivia Ross.
Antonio Berlin Saldana.
Nissa Michael Rothermund.
Nicholas Miles Sante.
Karen Andrea Ruiz.
Brandon McCall Schneider.
Emery Natalie Sandoval.
Tucker O'Brien Schultz.
Tessa Marie Savain.
Michael Allen Sharp.
Brianna Day Schulenberg.
Jose Giovanni Silva Mora.
Bobby-Ann Marie Sellers.
Zach Scow.
Jessica Lynn Shue.
Joshua Martin Smith.
Mariah Ann Sennett.
Joshua James Snelling.
Kaylin Skillett.
Dylan Tomas Snodgrass.
Brittany LeRae Snipes.
Ricardo Soria Andrade.
Cynthia Solorio Garcia.
Dalton Spahn.
Anna Ivette Solorio.
Reese Donovan Spooner.
Alicia Soria.
Mike D. Stubbs.
Abigail Florian Sosa.
Brandon Lee Swift.
Talia Talion Laurel Starks.
Zane Charles Taylor.
Shelby Lynn Stevenson.
Darian Michael Torgerson.
Pauline Octavia Stewart.
Mario Alberto Torres Garcia.
Bianca Marie Still.
Clayton Allen Trejo.
Taylor Michelle Still.
Gustavo Eduardo Valdivia.
Alicia Nicole Talent.
Edgar Rodrigo Valle Lopez.
Brianna Nicole Teeger.
Rafael Saldana Vargas.
Danon Lee Thomas.
Cody Lewis Vaselli.
Jadlyn Michelle Townsend.
Grady Lee Wagaman.
Erin Kathleen Van Riper.
Wayne Patrick Wakehouse.
Jenna Nicole Voster.
Ronnie Dean Walker.
Faye Lynn Walker.
Jason Michael Wallace.
Samantha Walters.
Tanner James Wallace.
Cassandra Joy Warner.
Kenneth Allen Walling.
Taylor Ann Waters.
Eldon James Warner.
Peyton May Wirtz.
Tyler Vincent John West.
Tori Irene West.
Jordan Michael Woolard.
Alyssa Beth Wiley.
Jonathan Ebi.
Ashley Nicole Wilkins. Michaela Jean Wood. Claire A. Yell. Abigail Mackenzie Yilmaz.
Graduates, please stand. Stand. Graduates, if you'll pay attention up here, please. Graduates, traditionally, the moving of the tassel at graduation symbolizes one's transition from student to graduate. With the class of 2015, remain standing, take your tassel on your right, and please turn your tassel to your left to signify your passage to graduate. Let's give them a hand.